you made the song Divine Sorrow with Avicii, and a lot of people wouldn't put you and Avicii together if you're gonna collaborate on a song like Wyclef and Avicii. Like, oh, I don't know, and it ends up being this fucking unbelievable song. And I know you went to Stockholm and you were in Tim's studio. Yeah. What was that environment like, watching him put together the beat and you producing and laying down the lyrics for the track, just in that studio in Stockholm with Tim Bergling, getting to watch each other work?
Well, I mean, I was going to Stockholm when Tim was a baby. Mm-hmm. So Tim been a Fuji fan since he been like a little kid, like 12. And he been a Wyclef fan.
So you were his idol.
Tim knew more Wyclef songs than Wyclef. And so what happens is, right, so whether if we talking about EDM or hip hop, when we all get together, we just musicians, right? So at the end of the day, to the public might be like, oh, we could never pair a EDM artist with a Fuji artist. Mm-hmm. And what happens when we put it together? But what I want the crowd to know is that EDM artist was listening to Mary J. Blige. Yeah. You know, they was listening to like Icky Mouse. They was listening to King Yellow, man. They was listening to the Fugees. How the hell you think they came up with the EDM shit? It's because of the idea of, for me, like EDM, true EDM, when it's put together, it's like putting classical music together. It's like a whole nother wave. So for me, getting together with Tim was dope because it was an experience for like both worlds. It was like what happens when the hardware meets the software. So a producer is who's coming from the era where we have to pick up the guitar, we got to walk with the hardware, and a kid shows up with his computer and he's like, oh, what kind of guitar is that, Taylor? And just types in Taylor and the sound of the Taylor comes out, right? So it's incredible because what I loved about the session was every time Tim couldn't get something from the computer, he'd be like, yo, Clef, give me that clefication shit, right? Because no matter how dope the computer is, it can't copy the human. You know what I mean? So, but I think the best performance is when the human meets the machine. Like with the right algorithm is basically over. And I think that's what, like, you know, with me and Tim, like when I was doing that shit, people was like, oh, Clef doing EDM. I'm like, are y'all out of your mind? Y'all ain't hear the Carnival? My first album, I'm doing everything. Like I'm not that kid in the box. I'm like African Bambaataa, baby. So when I got with Tim, I was excited because I wanted to learn the style, right? Because it was a whole new thing. Wanted to understand it. And guess what? That's like one of my like highest streamings is the Me and Tim record. It's like crazy streaming, and no one would have expected that.
Yeah, that shit popped off.